Hi, this is On Imagination with the Healing Garden. I am still in shock. I'm recording this video with pure, absolute shock. I have been trying to break through to have a certain conversation with teachers since 1992. I have tried so many times to talk to teachers about one constant concern. The educational system is not sufficient to teach people what they need to know for life. There is life, and then there's life inside of high school. And I tried to have this conversation in 1992 with my teachers. They immediately became aggressive, angry, and they lashed out. I never got any answers. I interviewed my parents, and my parents all said unanimously the same thing. There's nothing there that I ever learned. Well, what do you mean? Nothing I ever learned. Nothing. And then I would ask the teachers, well, why am I studying math? Why am I studying logic? Or, no, there was no logic. Why am I studying art? And they couldn't tell me. Not one teacher could tell me why I needed to learn their subject. But they studied it, they taught it, and they couldn't even tell me how I use it in real life. I thought this was weird. So in 1998, now mind you, I'd been already from 1992 to 1998, I started to study the educational systems. I specifically focused on the ancient Greek educational system, the United States educational system, and I read a lot of Thomas Sowell, who did nothing but devour information on the educational system. I read the book, A World Lit Only by Fire, which is an entire educational history of education, starting from 4000 BC, and it's preliminary of what the educational system is into the Roman Empire, and how the war on education got started by the Roman Empire, and how it proceeded into what nightmare it is now. And in 1998, I wrote a 300-page essay for one of my English college degree level classes on the abomination that is the United States governmental educational system. Now, this is after that same teacher who assigned this essay literally gave out grades if students promised to do better next semester. I watched her do this under 3 different situations. Meanwhile, when I present my essay, they canceled the essay. They canceled the entire project, even though it was worth 80% of the grade. I said, what's going on with the essay? Yours was especially bad. Interesting. Interesting. In 2002, I gave birth to my first child, and at 2007, she went to school. I attempted again. I'm the mother now. I want to talk about the educational system. Oh, no, we don't talk about that. Immediately, I was aggressively attacked, verbally assaulted, and immediately they just were mean, and it continued. I wanted answers. I continued to go. I would have these PTA meetings. I would have these discussions in the group. I would sit there in these 504 plans, and I would ask the teachers, well, I have you all here. Can you please tell me what's going on with the educational system? Well, and boom, I would get aggression. I would get absolute lash out. They acted like a bunch of 10-year-olds. You'd think they were working around 10-year-olds all day. And I'm going, this is interesting. No matter what their level of education was, they were immature, they were aggressive, they were hostile. I'm like, okay. I proceeded. This is a 30-year-long thing that I've been doing. In 2020, a teacher locked my son up under lock and key because she couldn't control him, and they posted a guard, another teacher, at the door. I get a phone call from the school that they have illegally locked up my son because they couldn't control him. Was he hurting anyone? No. Was he hurting himself? No. Then what the fuck are you doing? Well, he was going to leave the classroom. So you locked him up. He got home and he quit school that day and said, I never want to go back. I don't blame you. It's traumatizing to be falsely imprisoned. In 2023, I noticed significant PTSD symptoms in my daughter. She was sleeping 4 hours a day after school, in addition to 9 hours at night. When I investigated, I found out that it's the school teachers that were abusing her, not the school. I called up the school to figure out what's going on, and they're like, oh, we have a problem with a couple of the teachers. Yeah, they're tenured, and there's just nothing we can do about it. So I homeschooled. They retaliated by calling the cops on me, despite me providing them with an attorney and all the legal information to prove that I am home teaching my child. I've asked them multiple times prior to that incident if they could please explain to me what is going on with the educational system, why it has dropped 20 IQ points in the last 20 years, and what I can do about it to change it, or at least talk to somebody about it who would be willing to have this conversation. They attacked me, lashed out, were aggressive, and acted like a bunch of 10-year-olds, as if they'd been around a bunch of 10-year-olds all day. Today, I walked into a chat room online filled with teachers, and I said, "Answer me this." And I presented the questions I have been asking since 1992. I got my answer. All of the teachers, except one, attacked me, slandered me, bombarded me, harassed me. One of them came right out and slandered me. It was like they started to throw shit around the room, like they were a bunch of 10-year-olds. Two people. I had no idea. What do you mean they don't use any of the material? I said, has any parents ever told you that none of the material you teach is actually useful? No. This is the first we're hearing about it. What do you mean? You have never heard anyone tell you? No. They're clueless. So one of the gentlemen, this is one of the two peoples, he continued to talk to me. He goes, I agree the system is terrible. He goes, I had no idea. You bring up some points that I've never heard of before. I said, you don't know that the educational system is absolutely useless to the real world? He said, no, we had no, we knew we were having problems with this, and this, but clueless, oblivious. And I said to him, I have been trying to ask these questions since 1992. I asked my teachers. I asked my children's teachers. I'd be at events and I'd be asking anybody, oh, you're a teacher? Let me ask you a question. And then I got hostility, I got anger, I got aggression, like a bunch of children with Peter Pan syndrome screaming at me, I don't want to talk about it. And now he's telling me, oh, we don't even know about this problem. Well, that's because they're all screaming at us, not listening. So we continued to talk. And I did my psychology thing. And I noticed something. These are people who spent 20 years in the educational school system. They left, went to school for 4 to 6 years, and then went back. These are people who grew up in high school and stayed in high school. These are people who don't have a fucking clue what life looks like on the outside of high school. That's who we have teaching our children. A bunch of children who have never outgrown high school. They have a lot of Peter Pan syndrome. All of them have Peter Pan syndrome. Everything suddenly makes so much more sense. They have this little codependency thing. Their identity is the educational system. And when I tried to explain, you know that these people, parents, will tell you their information is useless. There is nothing that we are taught in school that we're actually using on the outside. It's not practical. It's not for life. There's real life, and then there's the stuff you have to go through with college or school or high school that you never actually need. Now, personally, I think they're not teaching it the right way, because if they were teaching it the way Plato taught it, the way it's supposed to be taught, oh, it's a completely different experience. And that's the way I was taught, through Plato's method. So it's not that the material is the problem, it's the method that's the problem. But these are just a bunch of grunts. They're only being told what the system is going to tell them to do. I'm trying to figure out a segue into the system. The problem is you got this gorgeous codependency. The government needs the education needs the government needs the education, the educational system needs the government. They've got this gorgeous codependency relationship happening where the teachers have no identity other than the teaching, and they have never stepped outside of a high school in their entire life, maybe 4 years to go to college. And they're teaching our children about real life when all they understand is high school. Do not send your child to school, homeschool. So I did the math. It's not hard. 1992, it's the year 2024, and one teacher talked to me, which means in another 30 years, maybe another one will talk to me. So in 120 years, I will have 4 data points. Teachers are so close-minded. They live in such a small bubble. They are clueless. They have this ability to just govern these little people. It's like they're the biggest bully in high school, and then they go and they get their degree and they go right back to be the biggest bully in high school. What the fuck have we created? What the fuck have we created? So, effective immediately, I am giving up on the teachers. I am going to be creating something called real life cultivators. Real life cultivators are absolutely the Healing Gardens teachers, and they are designed and taught precisely the way Plato taught me. They are going to be kind of like a glorified guidance counselor. And I will have the second option for people to become philosophers. So you can either be a guidance counselor, a real life cultivator, or a philosopher. The philosopher is going to be the masters. If you reach philosopher level, then it'll be master level. So everyone's going to start off as the real life cultivator. The cultivators will have 2 options. They can either practice inside my university. Well, I guess 3 options. They can practice inside my university. They can become their own homeschooling for their children, or for whatever people are in their environment. So there's going to be like independent learning. And then there's going to be those who want the franchise, which is coming out in 2025. So we have the franchise people, we have the university itself, and then we're going to have just the independent people who just want to learn how to be a real life cultivator. This course is for anyone who wants to nourish other people. It's that simple. Healers, psychologists, teachers, those are all ugly words to me. I don't like them. People are not broken to be healed. Psychology and I have a really long, dirty history. I don't even want to talk about that. And teachers leaves a really bad taste in my mouth. The word is cultivator because they nourish people to grow. They're supposed to be instructing, theoretical, basic instruction and guidance. Mother Nature does the rest, which is a very strong philosophy in the majority of philosophies. So we're going to be moving everything over to very much a Mother Nature already has the mental mindset. And I recommend my courses and everything to be partnered up with Khan University. We are working at turning everything over into the qualifications required in a couple of years to actually have this qualified for a university. So in the meantime, we are just a nonprofit coaching program for legal purposes, and we are LLC'd. And then once we have everything switched over, we're going to switch it over. That way we all, yeah, we'll make it all clean and pretty and all that jazz to appease the red tape of life. So in the meantime, real life cultivators, guidance counselor, philosophers. What I ideally dream about is becoming the official and the highest, grandest standard when it comes to philosophy. And this is all philosophy does, is it literally cultivates cultivators, and it cultivates leaders. It was a bloodbath. It was the most aggressively holy fucking shit. And to have to go through the 30 years that I went through, and then that last hurrah of just shit throwing to find one person to have a conversation with me. Now, what I'm assuming is, based off of some of the things, is they get this a lot from people to the point where they are now aggressively defensive. I saw a lot of trauma response going, wow, they are really traumatized in defense over their identities being attacked. But they are so, don't talk to me about the problem, that they're not learning anything. And now they're just, I can unravel all of the psychology, but they gotta wanna help themselves. They are so ensconced in a delusion, and that's bottom line. They have created they are bubble boy. Teachers are bubble boy. They're so fucking delusional. I don't want those people teaching my children. That's why I took my children out of the system and homeschooled, is because I don't want that kind of people influencing my children. They're delusional bubble boys. I've never seen anything so toxic, parasitic, and sick in my life than teachers. How it was literally a cesspool of narcissists, Peter Pan, and the displaced delusion of like just so fucking delusional. This explains everything. So I am going to take a very aggressive stand to tell you I've done the fucking research. And I'm telling you what I have seen from them. Homeschool your children. Absolutely. Supplement with Khan Academy, phenomenal program. And there are homeschooling programs. I'm going to be doing a lot of research to get you guys some really nice, high quality educational programs to make sure that you guys can supplement. I do not affiliate with any religion. I do not affiliate with any political party. So when I look for homeschooling programs, I want to make sure that what I find is not affiliated with any religion. If that's something you want to do, more power to you. Whatever you need, you do you. But I cannot take sides. So it is imperative that whatever I select to honor and represent the Healing Garden is absolutely neutral as well. So that all being said, in addition to whatever curriculum you have to follow according to your state, most importantly, absolutely, and this is imperative, education is supposed to do two things. The first thing it's supposed to do is define the self. That is what education is for. You're supposed to be doing education to learn who you are. You are the subject of study. You are the subject of study. That is literally the first thing. The second thing is it is supposed to turn on your mind. That is the second thing it is supposed to do. To turn on your mind, you're going to want to do this. Take piano, study logic at the same time. It's really cool. Study some basic physics, just classic physics. It's very simple. It's common sense. And absolutely take geometry. Geometry, classic physics, piano, music theory, logic. You do those things together. Focus on a 2-year agenda of just those things. And you will feel your mind turn on and you will go, holy fucking shit. And I'm going to go, yeah, I know, right? Now that your mind is turned on, let me show you how to use it. Completely different world. And you'll go, it's been dormant this whole time. And then you'll see it's literally like taking an acid trip without ever taking acid. It is just like that. Because your subconscious mind is not at all living up to what it's supposed to be doing. It is extraordinary. I was 15 when I did that combination and I just went, I can see shit. And then you could see math. And then math becomes common sense. And you're going, why are you reading and studying it when you can just deduce it on your own? Now you can still study it, but when you study it, it goes so fast. You can do all of the entire studies in like 10 years. You can do all the academic disciplines in 10 years. Oh yeah, it's awesome shit. This is the kind of stuff that Plato taught. So that by the time you are literally 25 years old, you should have had all this done. So, and by the way, this is what Japan figured out. This is what Japan does to their children. This is why they're like, oh, you got to study a musical instrument and you got to study math. Musical instruments and math is because they know this. So all these children from Japan are like, they get it. Which is why they're coming over here to our schools and they're going, why is there a 12-year-old who's like mastering physics in Harvard? Why is there a 12-year-old competing for the Nobel Prize? Because they know how to turn on the mind. So this is how it's done. This is absolutely how it's done. So I recommend the piano because the piano is the only instrument that gives you the full left hand, right hand, and also you're running with a foot pedal and you're also singing. So you're looking at 4 different you're looking at mental diversification. That's what you're doing. You want mental diversification with like 12 skills in your mind all at once, combined with the logical basis of comprehension. So when you combine logic and you combine physics and you combine geometry, and you combine this all with music, it turns your brain on. It's absolutely gorgeous. So your goal when you are on a learning journey, when your children are studying, they are supposed to be actually studying the subject of themselves. And it's supposed to turn on their mind. Now, they're still going to get the same education, better, but they're also going to get their life purpose. They're going to get their dreams. They're going to know how to get their dreams. They're going to know how to be wealthy. They're going to know how to be happy. They're going to know how to be ethical. That's all the stuff that comes with this. So they'll still get the same stuff. I got to emphasize this. They're going to get as much as they're going to get in the traditional educational systems and then some. But they're going to be able to do it with their amazing minds in a fraction of the time with a fraction of the discipline. It's extraordinary. The best thing you can do is just supplement. And I'll break down the formula to show you exactly how to do it. I do. This is a lot of it. And once you are actually following all of it, you'll realize, oh, wow, this is all actually combined into the same subject. All you have to do is follow the formula that Plato left us in his curriculum, and it teaches you the ethics. It teaches you everything literally in the right order. You need to follow the formula. That's all it is. It's just a learning formula. So I'll give you the learning formula. It's already on my website under Plato's curriculum. Take a look at that. Definitely study the 12 ethics. But if you don't study the 12 ethics, Plato's curriculum will teach them to you anyway. But simplify. Do study the 12 ethics so you know what you're looking for. And I think that's it. I can finally close this chapter of my life. I really fucking hate teachers, I'll tell you that. Arrogant fucking assholes. One teacher willing to learn in 30 years. That explains everything we need to know. So I have a lot more to say on it, but right now I just need to have a good cry, sob, curl up in a fetal position, and just get angry because I expect more out of our teachers. I expected a lot more, and I just got to shift my perspective into the appropriate reality of disappointment. All right. Thank you so much, and may the kindest of words always find you.